You opened vidIQ again last night, typed in the same niche you typed in 3 days ago, and sat there watching the numbers, like this time they would tell you something different. They didn't. That feeling of almost isn't research. It is your brain signaling the problem lives somewhere else. Your stuck place has a price. Not the niche you haven't chosen, something your research was never going to reach. Every week you stay here, your channel has no videos, no subscribers, and no algorithmic history accumulating in your favor. What you are about to hear is the only thing that stops it. You have told yourself this is a research problem, that the right niche is out there and you just have not found it yet. That committing now, before you are certain, would be reckless. So you keep going. Another video, another keyword tool, another spreadsheet tab that looks like progress but gets you no closer to a posted video. And here's what that story costs you, because the story is wrong. The problem is not that you lack information. The problem is that every time the discomfort of committing shows up, you open a new tab, and that tab makes the discomfort go away for about 20 minutes. You do it again the next day, and that relief is costing you more than you know. You need more information before you can decide. You always need more. Have you ever sat down to finally choose and ended up 3 tabs deeper with nothing decided? You might even have a draft script sitting in ChatGPT from a video idea you were genuinely excited about weeks ago, untouched, because the niche underneath it never got confirmed. That is not laziness. That is you, still in the same tab, still not decided. And more research will not break it. Wait, if you already know more research is not the answer, why does opening a new tab still feel like the responsible move? Your brain has a name for what it is doing to you. It is called negative reinforcement, and it is not what you probably think it means. It does not mean something bad happening to you. It means something uncomfortable going away, and your brain remembering exactly what made it stop. The same loop operates under conditions of decisional anxiety, and it is running on you right now. Here's what is actually happening every time you open a new tab. The moment you consider committing to a niche, a specific discomfort arrives. The fear that you might choose wrong, that you might waste months on something that does not work. That feeling is real, and you feel it whether you notice it or not. Then you start researching, and within minutes the feeling fades. You are doing something. You are being responsible. Your pressure lifts.
That is the moment the trap closes around you, and your brain logs that sequence like a receipt. Discomfort appeared, research happened, discomfort disappeared. So the next time decisional anxiety shows up, your brain does not reach for a decision. It reaches for a tab, and you follow. Every single time, without exception, you follow it. What makes this particularly stubborn is that the more you know, the more credible the research feels as a reason to keep going. Each cycle raises the bar for you personally. That is why you can spend an hour watching a competitor analysis breakdown for a channel concept you have not started, but cannot write a single title for the one you actually care about. There are 3 specific tools that break this loop, and all 3 come from peer-reviewed research, not productivity culture, not motivational frameworks, not anyone's opinion about what works.
The first tool is called the completion trap interrupt, and it comes from one of the most replicated findings in decision science. Sheena Iyengar at Columbia and Mark Lepper at Stanford ran a study in 2000 with 754 people that showed something most high achievers do not want to hear. When you give people more options, they do not make better decisions. They make fewer decisions. And when they do finally choose, they feel worse about what they picked. The researchers set up jam tasting booths, one with 6 flavors, one with 24. The booth with 24 attracted more lookers. The booth with 6 sold 10 times more jam. More options did not help people choose. The bigger booth paralyzed people, and it is paralyzing you. More options froze them. That is not a personality flaw. That is your brain reacting exactly as designed when the choice set gets too large to process. Here is what you do right now. Open a blank document, Not a spreadsheet, not a Notion board, just a blank page. And write down every niche you have seriously considered. Count them. If the number goes above 4, cross out every option except the 2 you would be most embarrassed to admit you are still not acting on. That embarrassment is information. It is pointing directly at your answer. At the top of the page, write the words, "I am choosing between these 2 only." Then, close every research tab before you go to sleep tonight. That is the whole action. Embarrassingly small. Genuinely effective. You may already have a half-written script sitting in ChatGPT from a video idea you were excited about 3 weeks ago, untouched because the niche underneath it never got confirmed. This is the step that unlocks it. But narrowing to 2 options does not tell you when to commit, and without that, 2 choices can still become a loop. The completion trap. Interrupt got you down to 2 options. What it cannot do is guarantee you will act on either of them tomorrow morning. That is a different layer of the problem entirely, and it needs a different tool. What he discovered should make you deeply uncomfortable about yesterday. The second tool is called the Implementation Intention Lock, and it comes from a psychologist named Peter Gollwitzer at NYU, who spent years trying to understand why people with genuine goals still fail to follow through on them. Here's what he found. Back in 1999, Gollwitzer pulled together a series of studies involving thousands of participants and published the results in American Psychologist. The question he was asking was simple. What actually predicts whether someone does the thing they said they were going to do? The answer surprised people. It was not motivation. It was not willpower. It was whether they had written down exactly when, where, and what they would do. Not a vague intention, a specific sentence. That single difference separated people who acted from people who didn't. People who wrote that sentence were more than twice as likely to follow through as people who just set the same goal without it. The deliberation that normally happens in the moment, the second guessing, the tab opening, the one more search, never got a chance to start. All of that vanishes because the decision was already made. The decision had already been made the night before. So here is what you do. What you write in the next 60 seconds changes tomorrow's outcome. Write this sentence verbatim, right now, on paper or in your phone notes, and do not change a word. When I sit down at my desk tomorrow, at your specific time, I will open vidIQ, type in the niche topic already in my head, look at the top 3 search results, and write the title of my first video before I do anything else. Then set an alarm for that exact time and label it Niche Locked. 2 tools now cover 2 different failure points, but neither of them can hold if there is no real cost to quietly walking it back. And that is what the final piece closes. The logic is uncomfortable because it assumes you cannot trust yourself. The third tool is called the Ulysses Commitment Contract, developed by Dean Carlin at Yale and published in the Quarterly Journal of Economics. And the logic behind it is brutal in the best possible way. You remove your future self's ability to renegotiate. When Carlin tracked over 2,000 people who had signed binding commitment contracts, agreements where something real was on the line if you backed out, your follow-through rate was not slightly better. It was dramatically better than you would manage alone. Not because you suddenly find more discipline, because the contract already made the decision for you. When your moment of discomfort arrives, there is no version of backing out that feels free anymore. Someone you respect knows. Something you value is at stake. Your easy exit has been sealed in advance. Here is what you do tonight. Choose wrong here and the contract means nothing. Text one specific person, not your most supportive friend, but someone whose opinion of you actually has weight, someone you would feel genuine embarrassment in front of if you quietly disappeared on this, and send them this. I am committing to this niche for my YouTube channel. I am posting my first video within 14 days. I am telling you so I cannot back out. Do not explain it. Do not qualify it. Send it before midnight. Because the moment you explain it, you have already started negotiating. The person who does all three of these things is not someone who has more information than you did before this video. You are someone who decided that the version of yourself still researching next month is no longer acceptable. That line is in front of you right now. You came into this video feeling like the answer was one more search away. It was not. And somewhere in the last few minutes, you felt that land. So here's the only thing to do tonight. Open your notes and write down the single next action you will take before you sleep. Because when you type that out, you are already different from who clicked play. Not because you watched a video. Because you stopped treating the decision as something that needs protecting from reality and started treating it as something that only becomes real inside it. The research was never going to end. You just decided it already has.